What is up, friends? My name is Laura. If you've never visited my YouTube channel before, welcome. Today I'm continuing my series on getting ready for the San Francisco Marathon. As of today, I'm under 7 weeks. I have done a few different marathons, lots of half marathons and Ironman in the past, so hopefully I do know what I'm talking about, but I have lots of experience on, what to bring on actual race day, what to leave at home, exactly what will help you cross that finish line, hopefully get a PR. But of course, we all just want to finish happy and healthy and excited that we actually accomplished it. In today's video, I am going to be bringing you through everything that I'm going to be bringing to the San Francisco Marathon and telling you a little bit why I officially am going to do that. There are going to be a total of 8 kind of topics and things within each, so stay tuned. Let me know which one you might not bring for your next race, or which one you're like, yes, thank you for that great advice. All right, let's get started. The first one is going to be obvious. Good clothes and good shoes. So you're not going to show up there naked probably. But what I kind of mean by this is for shoes, I like to get the shoes, probably the same shoes as I've been training in if I've been liking them and I haven't been having any foot pain, but I like to get those about 6 to 8 weeks in advance before, so it has lots of time to break them in and no unexpected rubbing or blisters that have not occurred within my training. So the shoes are broken in, but not 6 a year old of training. When it comes to actual clothing, I will say, a lot of the training that I did was more in the winter, so I'm of course going to be wearing, longer layers, but I can tell you which clothes I like a lot more due to chafing, due to comfort, due to it being, the weather outside, and I can be like, that's just so much better for a longer run. If that one's dirty and I'm doing a shorter run, I don't mind running in this, but know that you are going to probably be doing a 26.2 mile run or, a half marathon or anything like that. So stick to the things that are very, very comfortable. I also recommend they'll give you probably a free t-shirt once you actually are there and the day before. And I would recommend not to wear that. It's just fun to have that as a keepsake, but first, a lot of people will be wearing the same shirt. So if your loved ones are there, cheering you on, it's hard for them to differentiate you between someone else wearing the same t-shirt, which also ties into that's not a t-shirt that you've been wearing in the past, so you don't know about chafing or how comfortable it's going to be on hours on you really don't know how comfortable it's going to be doing a long race in. So definitely stick to exactly what you've been training in, stick to a plan, have that ready the night before or even 2 days ready, wash, clean, and ready to rock. The thing is, my marathon will be starting at 5:15 in the morning. I'm also catching a shuttle at 2:50 a.m. I probably won't get a lot of sleep the night before, but I still am going to have just a little tube of sunscreen, and I'm just going to apply that right before I'm starting and let that sink in so that the sweat doesn't just disappear. I might put one, depending on the weather, the next day or for the actual marathon inside of my Camelback vest for running. It has little pockets in there, so I might put one, but I'll touch on that in a minute. But just having some sunscreen on you definitely would make a difference. It probably won't during your marathon, but your skin and pain will probably thank you the next day, as most marathons start a little bit later in the day. I know when I did the LA Marathon, I think it was more like 7:30, so the sun was definitely out. And I am a visor light lover. I find that the top of my head can then breathe. It's just super lightweight, but you might be a hat person. You also just might not be a hat person at all, and that's totally fine. But this, I find it as a necessity, and I just put it on right at the beginning of the day, and I really don't take it off until I'm basically home. The third thing is probably, I would imagine, 95% of you run with music. I cannot imagine running for hours on end without music. So one of the things, obviously, making sure you have your phone, A, if your music is on there, and B, your headphones. The biggest thing I would say, make sure they're totally charged, because I know mine, they last for a while, but there's no more annoying feeling than starting a run and then it plays in your ears. It's 20% left, and I know that that's not going to last me my whole ride. So Totally make sure everything's charged, especially after trying to meet up with loved ones. I normally just put my phone on like do not disturb mode so that I don't ever see any kind of text, and it saves my battery. And then I have my headphones in and I'm ready to rock. So make sure you have both of those for sure, but also that both are charged. I gently touched on so far, but I find this incredibly beneficial. And I know that there'll be aid stations along the way for, you know, Gatorade, maybe some electrolytes and water, but I just like to, and I might refill them at those stations, but for the most part, if I'm going up a hill and there's no, you know, water for me to grab, that's gonna make that hill that much worse. So I always have some sort of running vest with me. This one is just a Camelback, very kind of traditional. It does have a spot that you could put like a full bladder, but I like them when they more just have these. You kind of like, I just find it's right there. I just can like kind of push it, squeeze water in and continue, and then open it quickly if I wanted to refill. Since there's two of them, I have one filled with electrolytes and one just filled with water, and I kind of go back and forth between the two, but I hit the electrolytes more once I'm around like 10 miles in, so that I kind of have that burst for the second half. Also, backpacks, no pun intended, on this is just like having little snacks. So again, it's stick to what you know with your training, and that would be, you know, energy gels. If you have like a little protein bar, I always like things that are just not like very sugary. Is definitely going to give me a little bit more fuel, but nothing that's going to like dry out my mouth. I've definitely tried a few and I'm like, I thought because these are so delicious that I would just be like so excited to eat them, but it would like take a lot of energy. So I also like baby food pouches. There's kind of like that for runners. It's like fuel, good fuel or something like that. It's just a little pouch. So it's so easy to be running and getting like in 100 or 200 calories and then popping it back in. So any kind of vest that you have, they normally have just like little pockets along. So it's just easy to like know exactly where it is and practice that with your long runs. And you can kind of like flip it up, grab one, squeeze, and put it back in there and continue. One thing that I definitely recommend, and this is going back to the weather and your training, for me, on one of the races that I've done, I had been, because it was winter, I had been training with putting like chocolate covered almonds, because A, delicious, B, lots of calories, great. 10 out of 10, recommend. But then don't recommend, because day of my, the run I was doing, I did that and it ended up just being so much hotter than any of like the practice things I'd done. And so they were just completely melted. So not only is it kind of like getting all over me, but like those are my calories. So that was very frustrating. So plan on, you know, it being warm. So probably stay away from chocolates, but just practice on what, you know, will be easy for you to consume to keep your calories and energy up. Within that, you also, you know, you could be putting the little sunscreen that I talked about. Maybe like your lips just get crazy chapped when you're super dehydrated like that. The other thing I always have is like that little stick of like the Glide On or whatever it's called, and it's just like for anti-chafing. And I notice honestly like immediately as soon as I use it. So I'll use it, you know, for like my thighs, like before I go for a long run, but I'll normally also just leave a very small stick in there. And I've never honestly had to pull it out, but like for such a small little stick, it totally could save the day. One thing that once I started training with one, I've never looked back. So this is my second one, but I do have a Garmin. I love my Garmin. I am a huge Garmin lover. So if you have a Garmin, you have an Apple, you have whatever, make sure that it's fully charged for the day. And that is one of my essentials. I would say for your first marathon, it does not need to be an essential, but if you're going for a PR, you're just wanting to know your pace exactly, you're wanting to qualify for something, or it honestly helps with you within your training or like maps or anything like that. I highly recommend a Garmin. They're not super cheap, but they do have, I think I've had mine now for about 2 years, and knock on wood, but it's never really skipped a beat and it's helped me so much. And before that, I had a very cheap Garmin watch, but still same thing. It really helped me with like heart rate, if I should be running harder, slower, like your heart rate's through the roof, like you need to calm down a little, Laura, and just gives you suggestions. Just all of those kind of things. So this is definitely my Garmin, something that is essential to me, but if you don't have one, you don't need it. but highly recommend. In my last video, so I will make sure those are linked down below, but it is basically grabbing either some older clothes that like you don't care if they get lost or like you were about to throw it anyways. And if you don't have any of that, head on over and grab some cheap ones from Goodwill or any kind of, you know, cheap store like that. And I always grab like a huge oversized sweatshirt, maybe some huge joggers or, you know, sweatpants, and just put those over whatever I'm gonna wear and warm up in those. And then about 10 minutes before the race is actually gonna start, I'll be a little warmer. It's okay if you start a little bit chilly on this race, obviously, because you're gonna get warm. So that will just, I mean, considering it starts at 5:15, the sun probably won't be out, so I'll be chilly, but I don't want to actually be running in like a long sleeve because the sun's gonna end up coming out a couple hours later and I will only be halfway through. So just being able to like strip those off quickly and be in what you're actually going to be running in right under, and you can either throw them in the trash. I've seen just a lot of people throw them onto the grass beside you, but just having that as, instead of, you know, oh, what should I do with my sweatshirt, and like having to tie it around your waist for the entire time you're running, or being incredibly cold going into your race, because that's obviously going to increase your chances of getting injured. The final necessity that I find for any kind of race is this would be if you have someone cheering for you, which I hope you do. Maybe you have a huge group all holding up signs, but I will have one person, and he's cheered at a few of the events that I've ever done around the world, and I just pack him a little bag, and he probably would want his bag, like a bag in general anyways, but I just give him a backpack and it will have things like a variety of different foods. For the most part, I'm craving more sugars because my body's just so depleted. So just like, honestly, like some candy, some fruits, but then I also will have like some larger things, or just kind of like some, like, I wouldn't say yogurts because he's going to be out in the sun cheering all day, but those kind of things just that are lighter on the stomach, because I'll probably go for a meal shortly after. But the thing is like right after, you probably want to put something in your stomach, but depending how hard you ran, what the weather's like, your stomach could also be a little bit off. So be a little bit more sensitive with it the hour or two after finishing. Like for me, I'm going to finish by 10:30 a.m. A lot of places still won't be open. They'll be serving breakfast. So in my eyes, like that would be good. Some calories in, just enjoying myself, you know, do a little walk around, sit down, enjoy myself. Yay, Laura, hopefully. And then just get some calories in. And then by the time I'm home, which will be like over an hour later, then I can actually eat a proper meal. Probably pizza, by the way. What is your favorite post-long workout run meal? I do hope that this video was helpful for some of you out there that are getting ready to do a marathon, your first marathon, your 90th marathon, and you're like, maybe there's just some new tips that I'd never heard along the way. But I do hope that this helps. If it did, or if you like this video, or if you just want to support me in the smallest free way, please give it a quick like. I do appreciate it. And I will keep you posted on my journey in the next less than 2 months leading up to this marathon. I'm very, very excited. Wish me luck if you feel like it in the comments below, and I will see you very, very soon. Keep living life. Bye.